Hello everyone, it's me, JJBA, and today we're going to be doing a one-shot What If. A What If on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 3. What if Jean-Pierre Polnareff and Avdol burned the mansion down? Now, in this What If, as I've said, it takes place in Part 3, Stardust Crusaders. In this timeline, when Joseph Joestar asked Jean-Pierre Polnareff and Avdol to burn down the mansion if they didn't see each other again within 20 minutes, they should do it. And so, in this timeline, they actually do it. Now, what possible changes could this possibly have on the story? Well, for one thing, the villain, Vanilla Ice, would have a much harder time fighting Avdol, Iggy, and Pierre Polnareff. In fact, it's not too much of a stretch that he would just die, because of the fact that he was turned into a vampire, and well, you know what happens when vampires are exposed to sunlight. Not only that, Dio would have a harder time as well, as he would have to hide himself in the dark, put himself in the coffin for a long period of time until the sun went down. Of course, Joseph Joestar, Jotaro, and Kakyoin would make it out of there alive. They're smarter than that. They wouldn't get caught up in a burning mansion. So after Jotaro, Joseph Joestar, and Kakyoin managed to escape the burning mansion and meet up with Polnareff, Iggy, and Avdol, they soon decided to go and face Dio, trying to search for him all throughout the burning mansion. Of course, it wasn't easy, even after when the fires died out. They were still having a harder time looking for him, although they did come across a secret room. And in this room, there was Dio's coffin. And so, Jean-Pierre Polnareff decided to finish off Dio. "Alright, everyone, I will finish this bastard!" With everyone trying to stop Polnareff from doing a reckless move, it was too late. Dio activated the world stand and stopped time for a few seconds, and he switched Polnareff to a different position, and everyone's confused as to what just happened. Polnareff was clearly trying to strike down Dio, but Polnareff was nowhere near Dio's coffin. But then they realized something. They come to a horrifying conclusion. After all that time searching for Dio, they look up at the sky, and all of them in shock realize it's nighttime. There was no sunlight. And not only that, Dio's coffin was open. And in the shadows, posing menacingly, there he was, Dio Brando. He goes on to arrogantly explain that no one is able to defeat his stand, and they should just surrender now and submit to his will, because no other stand could possibly rival his stand, the world. But of course, the Stardust Crusaders aren't gonna just give up like that. So they decide to fight him off, with Polnareff, Iggy, and Avdol bringing out their stands to fight Dio. And of course, they all feel the effects of the world, and they couldn't land a single attack on him, but they managed to distract him long enough for themselves to get away from him. And this is where Dio says, "Oh, foolish humans. Do you really think you could stand up to Dio? I shall show you. No one can escape me." And so, with the Stardust Crusaders retreating, Dio slowly takes his time, chasing them down. Just like in canon, he chases them down via a car chase. Kakyoin uses his Hierophant Green to possibly disable Dio from traveling, but it doesn't work all that well, considering Dio's stand. Avdol tries to use his Magician's Red. Ikki tries to slow him down with the Fool. And they do a better job, but still, Dio's stand is on a whole nother level. But here's the interesting thing. Kakyoin takes Ikki, and he goes up to where the clock tower is. You know the location. And he sets up a trap for Dio. His ultimate technique. The 360-degree Emerald Splash. He claims that this is a technique that no other stand or user could possibly avoid. And with Iggy by his side, that just makes it a whole lot better. Of course, like in canon, Kakyoin unleashes his attack, but the thing to note here is that Iggy's there. And he jumps up in front of Kakyoin and he releases the Fool's attack, the Sandstorm. Of course, Dio does the famous "The World Up!" He stops time, and he slowly moves his way towards Kakyoin and Iggy, breaking the emeralds as he walks by. And with him saying that they've already lost. And he punches both Iggy and Kakyoin super hard into a water tower. Of course, like in canon, Kakyoin's about to die. But the difference here is that Iggy was there. He blocked most of the attack, the damage. So Kakyoin is still able to move and talk. But there isn't much time for him left. He knows he's gonna die. Ikki is already on the verge of death as it is as well. And so Kakyoin uses his Hierophant Green to blast the clock tower so that it leaves a clue for anyone to figure out what Dio's stand ability is. Of course, like in canon, Joseph's Joestar figures out that Dio's stand is able to stop time. And of course, Joseph Joestar doesn't get killed by Dio because he has the ability of Hamo. And he uses Hermit Purple to wrap himself around Hamo. Of course, Dio was sort of impressed by this, but it's nothing that he can't handle. Another difference is that while Jotaro and Dio are fighting, like in canon, when Dio is about to finish off Jotaro, this is where Polnareff and Avdol come in for a surprise attack, with Polnareff stabbing Dio in the head, and Avdol using his Magician's Red with his Crimson Flames ability to burn him up. Of course, this catches Dio by major surprise, doing a lot of damage to him. But of course, he uses the world to defeat and incapacitate both Polnareff and Avdol. And during this time, Jotaro had plenty of time to to prepare for a counterattack. So, pretty much like in canon, Jotaro and Dio face off. And of course, you know what happens. Dio uses the world. Jotaro is able to figure out that his stand and Dio's stand are pretty much the same, and so he's also being able to stop time as well. And because he's able to stop time, he's also to move freely in it. And of course, he gives the biggest Ora attack to Dio ever, and finally defeats Dio. So, even though they've lost two friends today, Kakyo and Inigi, at least Polnareff and Avdol are still alive. Of course, Joseph asked Avdol and Polnareff to join them, but Avdol and Polnareff decided to go their separate ways. Of course, Avdol would more than likely join with Polnareff because, well, Avdol doesn't really have anywhere else to go, so he joins them there. And that is going to be it for What If Polnareff and Avdol Burned Down the Mansion. I really like this What If. It's a one-shot idea based on one of my favorite animes. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. With that being said, this is Hydro King signing out.